gonna get sauce. I fought the troll and the troll lost. I fought the troll and the troll lost. He tried to boss me and was outbossed. I fought the troll and the troll lost. I fought the troll and the troll lost. Underneath his creeper bridge, hoping goats will cross. Quoting Ashcroft and Tom Ridge, I fought the troll and the troll lost. I fought the troll and the troll lost. He's even dumber than Mickey Cost. I fought the troll.
Hello and welcome to the TechBytes audiocast. I'm Tim from the OpenBytes blogazine, and this show is co-hosted with Dr. Roy Shestowitz from the TechBytes website. So hello, this is episode 3. Hope you're all still with us and enjoying what we've done so far. Obviously this is our 3rd episode now, and some may say it's in quick succession from episode 2, which was only released yesterday. We've had a discussion about some of the topics that we're covering on this show, and I think for me personally, the nice thing about having a irregular release schedule for TechBytes is going to be that we can stay more current on the topics that are in the news at the moment. Speaking from personal experience, I think a lot of the podcasts that come out that I download, I don't get a chance to listen to. So when I do listen to them, I've already read the news 1,000 times over on the web. So I hope that this extra show that's come out only a day afterwards will serve to keep up to date. And maybe if you didn't have time to listen to show number 2, then you can be more up to date with some of the topics in the news. On that note, I'm going to stop hogging the microphone, and I'm going to say hello to Roy, who's also with me, believe it or not, and we're going to go straight into our subjects for the day. Hi, Roy.
Hi there. We actually had a discussion yesterday, and we covered quite a range of topics, especially from previous week. We did a show on Sunday, at least the recording, and one of the things I did over the weekend, I was trying to catch up with all sorts of stories, which I missed last week. We don't have the same type of density of stories. We don't have lots of drama going on, or lots of succession of events and very controversial things like things around Ubuntu, which we had a previous show. But one of the things I found today is a big story. Is the Telstra is apparently found to have violated the GPL. That's kind of an interesting story. And another thing I found about Android, it's one of the things Nokia said about Android before was that giving the monopoly to Google, or giving them control over the operating system, kind of has them play the companies that make hardware and take up all the margins. And that's kind of an interesting point. And an analyst group, or a group which I've never heard of before, is basically saying that. So the first thing I thought, maybe it's one of the rivals of Google trying to kind of scare people. And I'm not exactly sure. We can talk about this in a moment. Have you got any topics you think we should go through?
Yeah, I mean, I've spent most of my day looking at a software package as a result of some feedback that we got from, it was show 1 they were referring to. If you want me to cover that now, we can go through that now, and I'll give you a brief rundown of what I've actually spent, about 10 hours now of my time looking at. If that's okay with you, Roy, I'll jump into that.
Yeah, I just want to say something very quickly. One of the listeners has suggested that we dedicate about 5 minutes to just going through, very quickly going through news, possibly daily, possibly a weekly thing, and trying to condense things, to compress them onto a period of 5 minutes, and trying to deliver the daily news in such a way that's going to be useful to the listeners. But I think that requires preparation, and if we do the show on a very regular basis, if we do it almost daily, I think it's going to be hard to do. But one of the things I should point out before I let Tim begin with the stories, the unique thing about this show, we don't have any notes apart from perhaps a few pointers or a few words written down. We don't do any scripting, and we don't do any editing of the show. We don't actually remove parts. And so far, having done 3 recordings, the 2 shows and the pilot, the first one, we've never removed any section of the show, of the recording, basically. And we intend to try and do that, to keep the pace up and to try and get a good pace going without having to kind of worry too much about editing and how long that takes and how long it's going to deliver a show. So yes, just bear this in mind. When you listen to the show, it's basically me and Tim talking without preparation, without knowing the other person's points that the other person would go through. And I don't even know what the first topic that Tim's going to talk about is. So as you listen to it, bear in mind I have not been communicating or auditioning this thing, and the same goes for Tim. He doesn't know exactly what topics I'm going to bring up. And hopefully that's still useful, even for a person who has never heard the show before. So.
Right. Well, you put a lot of faith in me there, Roy, because I could be talking about anything. I've kept this one quite close to my chest all day today. And like I said, I've spent about 10 hours now looking at it. I hope you'll let me indulge just in a little bit of a story for about a minute. Myself and Roy had a conversation on episode 1 in regards to what Windows binary would you like to see have a native Linux version. And I think we came up with 2 quite original suggestions. My suggestion was that a package called Game Maker was released with a native Linux version. My reasoning behind this was it was a development package that allows anybody to make simple 2D games, similarly in the vein to a Nintendo DS. I argued at the time that it was a very good package to introduce people into programming. It had a very visual GUI, which allowed you to actually see arrays, see loops, and I thought it was a very good way for new people, maybe even young people, to learn programming techniques and disciplines. I got an email yesterday, and it was from a guy called Tez. I'm not sure whether that's a handle or a name. And he brought my attention to a title which it's knocked me back a little bit. It's called Game Editor. You can find it on GameEditor.com. And if you hang fire for about a day or so, I'm writing more of a comprehensive report on it, which is going to go onto the OpenBytes blogazine in the next few days. It's a package which it's released under the GPL 3 license, which allows any user to make 2D games on the Linux platform. That doesn't sound very unique. There's plenty of development packages and languages out there that allow you to do this. But Game Editor is quite different. What it basically does, it has virtually 3 levels of usage, and for a beginner all the way up to advanced, and effectively runs a drag and drop type environment where you can create a game or a piece of software literally by dragging items onto a form or a sheet in order to create your game package. I can't go into far too much detail. I could speak about this for hours, and I've just been looking over it and some of the features. What I will say is Game Editor also has quite a jewel in its crown. Now, I can't believe that I haven't seen this package ever before. It's one of these things where, and I'm constantly surprised in the free and open source software world, where you can be looking for a package for ages and then suddenly discover something which has a massive community following, is absolutely fantastic, and you've never come across it before. And Game Editor is one of these packages. The real jewel in its crown, though, is that it allows you to produce binary files for multiple platforms, and it is a true cross-platform package. I'm just looking down the list here. Obviously, you can produce a Linux binary for it. You could produce a binary for the Mac, and the iPhone and iPad as well is covered, as well as Windows. So the scope for releasing your work once you've created it is actually quite great. Having looked at the package for only about 10 hours, like I say, it caters for the beginner and all the way up to the advanced user, and has a very powerful scripting language, which is sort of basing itself and is a hybrid of the C language, and also allows you to include native C code in your scripts. That's something I'm just messing around with at the moment to see what exactly I can create and how quickly something can be created with it. But on